late because I had to ship things, and I had to ship things at 2 different locations. And then the roads got the better of me, and it's really foggy here. I didn't wreck, but somebody else did, and I got stuck behind it. So now I'm here, and I was just late, and it was a cluster of a morning, but we're here, and we're talking about the exciting things that are in home theater and audio video because we're all nerds deep down at heart. And I did admit that I was a nerd for a very long time, all the way through college, all the way into my 30s. I said to myself, Ryan, you are not a nerd. You are an athlete. You are this, you are that, but you are not a nerd. And then for some reason, I woke up one day and just went, I am a nerd, and embraced it. And my wife, I don't know if she likes it or not. She is stuck with it. She's stuck with it. She's like, you're not a nerd that is a nerd, and I don't know what to do with you. You do things and you look like you should not be doing things, but you do things. And it's just like, because I dress like I'm always in athletic stuff. She's like, you don't look like you should be doing or enjoying the things that you do, but you do, and you're weird. She calls me weird all the time. Whatever, she married me. She's stuck with me. So we're gonna watch Prey today. I'm gonna go over to Jonathan's this weekend. Von England. I remembered your name again, Jonathan. And we're gonna look at the LS9000. It is here. I'm excited to do that. What else I got? I got some Priscilla speakers coming that I'm excited to take a listen to. Not as a review. I'm actually looking at seeing if I want to add Priscilla to the lines of brands that I carry because they have some offerings that are cheaper than other things. So I want to see if there's something I want to pick up. It's not going to be a review. We're not going to do the official review capacity. We don't do that here. It's whether we would use it is more of what we do. I'm not going to sit here and say on a speaker, this is the frequency response, this is that. It's, do I like it? And then if I do like it, I'll dive more into it. But I don't do the whole review thing because I think it's a tough line to walk. And frankly, I don't have any interest in it. I just use what I believe in and what I like. And I think what I like is good representation for, this is going to sound kind of, how can I put this? Self-indulgent, but I think what I like and what I've found to be solid is a good brand and would be good for the industry. So take that for what you will. I can tell she tolerates it. Must be love. So Vaughn Williams is talking about my wife tolerating that I'm a nerd. She definitely tolerates it. The good and the bad that come with it. She knows that I was in IT. I was a network engineer for almost a decade. So it was, then I pivoted and did other things. So I can fix things. I can do a lot with technology and I have a good understanding of how things work. Because what do we do in IT? We're just really good at Googling and we're really good at teaching ourselves things because knowing everything is not possible. So being able to teach yourself things rapidly is all IT, what I came to understand IT to be, because you got to figure it out and you're not going to know everything because almost every situation is different. So she appreciates that, but she does not appreciate my love for technology and potentially how excited I can get to spend money. It's not a great combination of my always wanting something new and loathing high tech, because those two things are usually on the more expensive side. So I have a propensity to spend money. Good morning, Thibault. How are you? Sorry I'm late. As I said at the very beginning of this, I had to ship some stuff. I had to ship some stuff to a customer. It came in late. Then I had to ship some Envies out. I do all of the RMA stuff for Mad VR. So I had to ship those out to customers. So we got that knocked out. My basement is now, there's less stuff in here, which is nice because clutter drives me nuts, but there's less stuff in here. So that's helpful. What else? We're going to watch Prey today. I'm excited about that. We're going to, what else am I doing in the life of Ryan? Tonight, I'm going to the musical for Beauty and the Beast. I'm into that too. I'm into the arts. So I played double bass through college. I do lots of things. Anything I do Unfortunately, I'm a bit obsessive with my personality. It's not that I'm after perfection necessarily, though I do like things that are clean. I'm not obsessive compulsive, but I am on the obsessive side. And that sends me to places where if I'm going to do something, it's worth overdoing and I'm going to pursue it for a while. So I played double bass and electric bass guitar through college. So I have an appreciation for the arts. I was in the Kansas City Youth Symphony. I didn't do the Kansas City Symphony. I ran out of gas before we did that. Um, so we're going to Beauty and the Beast musical at the music hall tonight. I'm excited about that. My daughter went and saw with my mom Lion King and loved it. She liked all the costumes and stuff. So I'm actually excited to see that. I'm excited. I like Beauty and the Beast. I think it'll be great. I'm not afraid to show my feminine side. So we're got that going on tonight. I'm going to meet Jonathan again this weekend. Von England. We're going to go to that until the day I die. Von England. And we're going to look at the LS 9000. I think we're going to do that on Sunday as of right now. We may move that to Friday, I think. But that's where we're going. You guys have got to have questions. Come on. Question. Vaughn Williams says, watched Prey for the second time on Blu-ray 2 nights ago. Loved it the second time round too. So does that mean you loved it the first time and now you're loving it again the second time? Is that where we're going with that? I'm assuming that's what you mean. What else have I done in the world of home theater? Or not in the world of home theater. So I worked on my garage. That was fun. What did I do? I did something really dumb and wired something wrong, and it tripped a GFI circuit. And I spent a couple hours trying to find this GFI and breaker. Could not find it. Then, you know how every once in a while you have that light bulb that goes off, and you're like, oh, wait, maybe it's this. Well, that hit me yesterday where I realized behind a toolbox that I just put in, I put in a big toolbox, and behind it, there was another GFI. And I didn't realize there's actually 2 GFIs in my garage right next to each other. For what reason? I don't know. They're on 2 different circuits. I forgot that GFI was there. I was walking around the house trying to find this GFI, flipping breakers, doing all this stuff, could not find it. And then yesterday, I just think, wait, and look back there, got on a ladder, looked over the toolbox. Sure enough, another GFI. So put that, everything went back to working. So that was a pain in the butt. That was my fun yesterday. Finally got the garage done. Hishu Boroken says, I don't appreciate my wife's love of baskets and candles, but I tolerate it. Marriage is about compromise. Yes, marriage is about compromise. Unfortunately, my wife probably compromises more than I do because of all the stuff that I'm into. I'm not into baskets and I'm not into candles, but man, I got some hobbies. And when I get into a hobby, I go down the rabbit hole, and I go down the rabbit hole deep, unfortunately, because anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Thibault, did you see Weapons? No, I bought a lot of stuff during the last stream we did with Jonathan. And one of those movies that I bought was Weapons. And then I bought Nobody 1, and I bought Nobody 2, and I bought Weapons, and I bought something else, and I bought something else, and I bought like 8 movies. So I may watch that today. We'll see how today goes while I'm working. We may get through that. May go through that. Hopefully we'll have some time. And then the other thing I got to work on is I got to get insurance knocked out for this car thing that I'm doing. Trying to get my dealer's license for cars, and insurance has been a pain in the butt because they're just not very helpful. The insurance agents, they don't want to tell you, it seems like, what anything is. And you get this premium. And I'm not a big car, like, this isn't going to be a big business. And I'm getting premiums for like 15 grand. I'm like, what are you insuring? What is happening? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So trying to deal with that. And hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that. Boroken says, L's 12,000 owner, after the Front Row podcast, I'm wondering if it really is better to stay in SDR all the time. I like the colors of HDR, but the brightness is often underwhelming in bright day scenes. Your brightness shouldn't be changing. What would be causing that? You may be enjoying the clipping, maybe what you're enjoying in the SDR. Paul Travasino, what is my expectation of the LS9000? My expectation, honestly, is for it to have the processing of the LS12000, but to have the video experience of something like a 5040. That is my expectation, I think, is what I think is going to happen. But we'll see. I've not seen it. I know nothing about it. I like to go into things blind because when you go into things blind, not knowing anything, your subjective biases don't get in the way. So since I know nothing, I don't even know what its specs are. And I'm going to keep it that way until I see it. I think that's the proper way to review something, in my opinion. My opinion. That is an opinion. Because again, if you know all of this stuff, your biases get in the way and you think, oh, well, it should be doing this. But my point, I want to see if subjectively, if I like it, do I like it enough to justify the cost, regardless of what the spec is? Do I like it enough to justify the cost? Then go back and look at the specs. That's where I want to go. That's how I want to do this. You're just here to troll Ryan about his taste in movies. Dude, my taste in movies sucks, right? I like the really dumb stuff. I like kaiju movies. I like big explosions. I like all of that. It's awesome. Anybody that thinks otherwise is wrong, Jonathan. So, kaiju are the best. Burukai says, Sinners. Let's get chat up there. I think it's time. Says, Sinners is a good recent example. Felt like the daytime scenes out in the town and fields should have been more sunny. Also, I feel you are going down rabbit holes, but it's a fun problem to have. So he's talking about running the LS12000 either in SDR or HDR. It would depend on what that movie was actually coded for, brightness wise. Like, what are those bright scenes supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know what the nit values are for those particular scenes. I can probably go look at them in the Envy and tell you. But you may like the clipping. You may like vibrant mode. Try HDR in dynamic mode and see if it gets better. But honestly, what I would do, Buraken, is to post in the LS12000 thread with your experience and see if you can get some more directive on what to do. That's the direction that I would go in this situation. Because I feel like it should be good enough for what you're doing. But maybe you like the clipping, and there's nothing wrong with that. William Kramer says, I think the 9000 is on par with the Home Cinema 4010, a non-ultra black Epson. That's possible. That's possible. And if it's good enough for the money, it's good enough. But I want to go into it blind, so we're going to see. Big Street Cinema, if you build 2 stacks of 4 18-inch subs, so every stack go from floor to ceiling, how hard will the calculations be? Every driver need to be time aligned, or is it better to have a pair of them close together? They should all be able to be, well, technically they are different distances. I would try doing them all on the same delay and see what that gets you. And then just minutely adjust. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't take a lot. You adjust by put one up, put another one up. Should be able to do it in the same delay. But if you're not, delay it by 1 millisecond. See what the frequency response does. Delay it by half a millisecond if you can. See what the response does. The hard part there is that not all calibration suites are going to be the same. Most calibration suites are not going to have the capability to delay by really granular steps, very, very small steps. You may be able to get fractions of a millisecond in some of them, but most, I don't think you're going to be able to get that far. So what I would do is I would start delaying by 1 millisecond, see if it changes. And if it doesn't, leave it. If you get a minute change, I don't even know that I would change it. I'd probably leave it and just start adding them. Do 2, then do 3, then do 4, and see if you need to change anything. But if they're all the same driver and they're all co-located, I don't think you really should have to do much. But that would be awesome. I'm excited for you, Big Street. 4 18s in 2 stacks, so 8 18s. Yes, that's going to be awesome. Or build them like the Procella V18 and V21. Yeah, the V things. Yeah, you could do that. Could do that. What Wi-Fi mesh network do you recommend? I despise Wi-Fi mesh networks personally. I understand why they exist, but I don't like them. I feel like they're just a recipe for inadequacy and for hurt feelings and for letdowns. If you can run Ethernet to each one of the extenders, do that to an access point. I don't use mesh. I have access points in my home, and each one of them has a dedicated trunk going back to the switch. So that's the way you should do it. And then you adjust the power of each access point so it's not muddling with the other ones. I don't like mesh. I understand its purpose, but I don't like it. So I don't have a good recommendation for you, unfortunately, Paul. I don't have all of my experiences with mesh have been sad. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but they've been sad. I've had sad times with mesh. Been sad. Today, my 718 is calibrated separately, but when you go to 12, you have problem. So you have 718s, but when you go to 12, you have problems. I mean, it is more complicated, but co-locating, you shouldn't really need to change anything. It should be okay. Shouldn't need to calibrate much. I watched Pacific Rim yesterday. It's been years. Absolutely loved it. That's because it's one of the best cinematic masterpieces of all time. It's one of the best movies best written movies ever. I'm just kidding. It's not well written at all. But it's fun. It is fun. It's fantastic. I enjoy it. When SDR have higher APL? Yeah. But I don't know what his, if we're going back to the LS 12,000 question, I don't know what he's after. A lot of people actually prefer the clipping. So that's what I feel like he may be running into is clipping for a lot of these situations. Or he just may like the brightness. He just may like his retinas melting, which I approve. I fully approve of that. I should write to you about the black Kawani Maso fabric. That would allow you to address your light reflection issue and enhance your contrast. Do you know what is Maso black? Isn't that a paint? Is it acoustically transparent? Because my fabric would have to be acoustically transparent, which is one of the holdups. And I don't think I want to change it. I think my contrast is fine. It's good enough. I like the aesthetic. I draw the line of you got to find the point of what is this aesthetically pleasing and what am I getting better for performance? You got to walk that line. And I did. And I'm where I want to be. I don't think I want to change it. I'm happy where I'm at. My contrast is pretty good. I mean, for Christie, a Griffin, getting between, let's just say 5,200 and 5,700 to 1 native contrast at 300 nits is insane. So I have no problems. I'm good. I'm good. Good. I love the juke joint scene in Sinners. That's a phenomenal scene. Phenomenal scene. Loved it. It's on my demo reel. I need to go back and redo it because Kaleidoscape sent out an update where they changed some audio and video stuff. So I'm excited about that. I need to go back and redo those scenes. Same with Pacific Rim and some other stuff. Ballerina got an update. A lot of things got updates. So need to do that. Thanks again for your advice, Ryan. This is Home Theater Denmark. During John Wick 1, never have I ever heard a gun being thrown across the room sounding this good. Bathroom scene and the bass is just spot on. I'm just happy. Yes. Yes. So Home Theater Denmark, the reason he's saying this is because during our stream, I think it was Tuesday or Monday, He was having bass issues. And I said, you're probably having a placement problem where you're sitting in a null and you either need to move the subs, adjust the delay, or move your seating position. And what he found was he had actually forgotten to move his seating position back. And when he did that, and there may be more to this that I'm leaving out, but when he did that, oh, baby, huge change because he wasn't sitting in the null anymore. Yes. Good for you, Home Theater Denmark. I'm glad your experience is solid. That's great. Having a good bass experience brings a smile to your face. Just feeling like you're getting shot. It's a weird thing to say, but feeling like you're getting shot when you're watching a movie, nothing like it. I mean, there's probably nothing like actually getting shot, but nothing like feeling like you're getting shot in a movie. Mesh TP Link, BE65 and X50 for outside. Oh, those are recommendations for what you would do for mesh. All right. The Sod Father. Hearing voices out of my subs, can't hear it from main listening position, but put your ear up to the subs to hear it. Voices are muffled. It's your crossover. What's your crossover at? It's probably really high. And you've got just bleed coming down. Because remember, your crossover is not a hard cut. Your subs aren't going like a 90 degree, just everything stops, and your mains aren't going and then they butt up. That's not how a crossover works. They go like this, and they blend into each other, right? So they fall off. Taper, 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 taper. And how far they fall off depends on the crossover you're using. So how many dB per octave depends on that crossover. Some like a more aggressive, 24, even 48. Some people like an 8. So you've got to figure out which one you like, 8 or 12. So, or 24, 48. And then there's different types. So your crossover is probably high, would be my guess. Oh, you say your crossover's at 80. What subs do you have? And is it only happening in one piece of content, or is it all content? You could theoretically also have some crosstalk. What electronics do you have? So crosstalk would allow signals to jump and come out of different things. That can happen depending on equipment, depending on wires, with shielding. That can absolutely happen. So not common, but it can happen. Hit me with the electronic stuff and cabling. Do you have any cables going over each other? Are things XLR? Are they all RCA? All that. Can you recommend any other no-brainer great experience movies like Pacific Rim? Well, obviously Godzilla, right? The 98 version of Godzilla, atrocious. Awful movie. Learning about how they made that movie, fascinating. The 2014 Godzilla and on, mainly the first two, are a lot of fun. Kong Skull Island, a lot of fun. Top Gun Maverick, it's another one of those movies. It's not a giant monster movie, but it's another one of those. Transformers, the reboot with, I think it was Michael Bay, the first one that came out in the early 2000s. That's a big kind of turn your brain off and enjoy it movie. It's got a lot of loud noises and explosions. That one's fun. Tron Legacy is honestly another one. Not great story, fun story, lots of cool action, music, loud noises. Chat, what else you got? Let me pull up my Kaleidoscape library and see. I know I've got other ones. But movies where you got to turn your brain off to enjoy it. What am I doing here? There we go. My movies. Da, 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 da. I'm focusing on giant monsters. That kind of stuff. Still looking. Anything that I'm not. There's Pacific Rim. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Love that one. Normal Godzilla, 2014. Love that one. John Wick. That's probably more better movie than the other two, but it's kind of turn your brain off. It's not a cinematic masterpiece by any means. Ready Player One. Pacific Rim deserves an Oscar. Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to say no. But if you say so, those are my go-tos for turn my brain off kind of movies. Monster Hunter? I have not. Oh, I did see that. I don't know. That one was kind of boring. Fury Road? No, I wouldn't put Fury Road in that same realm as Godzilla or Pacific Rim. No, don't think I'd do that. Oh, another movie. So what I bought recently is I got Both the Nobodies, Weapons, Appleseed, Ghost in the Shell. Those 5. You think Batman? Which Batman? Are we talking like Christopher Nolan Batman or The Batman? I think The Batman is an underrated movie. The Batman does a fantastic job. I don't even remember that guy's name, the actor. Fantastic. I really enjoyed that movie. And I think I enjoyed it because it's dark. I like darker movies. I really want them. Disney needs to make a Vader movie where we show why Vader, everybody fears him. I want the dark side. I want to see what made Vader Vader outside of the ending of the prequels. Show it to me, baby. The ending of Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars scene ever. It's one of my favorite cinematic scenes ever, as dumb as it is. Just dark, hearing him breathe, lightsaber lighting up, and then everybody freaking the hell out. Oh my God, it was so cool. So cool. I remember seeing that for the first time. It was amazing. I'm going to go watch it in the theater after this. It was just awesome. Oh, so good. Expendables? I have not seen Expendables. Is it worth watching? The gunplay isn't as fun to me as a giant monster and giant robots. It's not, doesn't do it for me. Superhero movies, maybe like Iron Man, Hulk. Those are kind of turn your brain off movies that are fun. I like the original not the original, but the early 2000s Iron Man because it's darker. See the theme? So Sodfather says no wireless wires touching. They don't necessarily have to touch. Again, are you using RCA or XLR? And what electronics are you using? So Hisuburo Ken, I'm going back. This is his thing about the projectors. So he was talking about how he likes SDR over HDR. And he says, yes, I want my retinas to melt. Thank you for putting words to it. But like without clipping, I'm just looking for higher lumen output. Okay, so that makes sense to why you like the SDR. You're getting that higher APL. Unfortunately, the only way to get around that for HDR is you need a brighter projector. But you now know the direction that you want to go. So projectors like the Epson QLs, you could do an Epson 860, or not an Epson, a Christie 860, but you got to make sure that you can't see color wheel, rainbow, that kind of stuff. And then you're moving into outside of the QLs, pro projectors. Epson makes some other ones. Christie's got some other ones, but that's the direction you're going to want to go if you're looking at hardware upgrades for that Epson. Epson's a great projector, but if you've defined, hey, I like brightness, you now know the direction that you need to pedal in order to get what you want. So Home Theater Denmark, this is back on his comment about moving his seating position. Yeah, we all make mistakes. The mistakes are part of the journey. And if you don't make those mistakes, you don't know what to go back and check. And you don't know when you do something in the future, the things you need to, I'm saying I don't know a lot, but the things you need to look into in order to make sure you have an optimal experience. So what Home Theater Denmark is going to make sure when he does something in the future, more than likely, is seating position. Is it in the proper spot for where the subs are located so that he's not sitting in a knoll? Not when he cleans or moves things, but when he's designing a new space, when he's doing something new, he's going to think about that because he made a mistake. And when he's doing something new, his brain's going to go, we got to go back. Remember when you did this stupid thing? Don't do that again. Think about how we get around that and make it better. And that's what he's going to do because we made a mistake. And we as people, typically, we all don't, typically learn through our mistakes. We learn through failure, which is why these journeys are so important. People always assume that Jonathan, myself, and some of the other guys in Kansas City, like, man, you guys look at your theaters, and our theaters are the culminations of our journeys, and a lot of mistakes being made that have allowed us to figure out what we need to do and where we want to go. And that's where we've gone so far. And we still make mistakes. And if we ever do it again, we're going to be like, hey, remember when I did this? We're not going to do that again. We need to make every attempt and implementation in order to get around that because that was not fun. So it's all journey, it's all learning. And if you're not doing that, I would argue you're doing it wrong. The Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises is perfect for testing subs. I think there are better movies. I actually didn't like The Dark Knight Rises all that much. That's not my jam. The Dark Knight Rises, while it was an okay movie, is not nearly as good as the first two, especially The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was made as good as it is because of Heath Ledger. He died because of the Joker. Like, I don't know that even though we can argue about that. Like, he died because of that role. And that movie is just so good. So good. Both cinematically, acoustically, everything about that movie comes to me. It's so good. Not even an Atmos movie. Not even an immersive format. Just normal surround. So good. I Break Your Heart. It's not as good. I mean, this is just how it is. It's a good movie. It's just not as good as the second one. The second one is the best. Fight me. Fight me. Not really. I don't like to fight. I'm a wuss. So, QR code, upper left corner. I know because I just saw somebody scanned it. This thing. That thing. I'm going to add on there a Google Sheet eventually. I think probably today, now that I have some time. I've gotten the garage taken care of. I've got these NVs out of the way, where we're going to track sales. If you think you'd like to add sales, like if you track home theater sales and stuff and you'd like to put them on this spreadsheet, send me a message on AVS forum, just Multar. I think it's M0LTAR, or you can comment in here and we can hook up. Or better yet, scan that code, go down to the contact section and write in there that you'd like to access. Say what your username is in chat so I know if you're regular, because I don't want everybody doing this. I just want my regulars doing this that I trust more. So that we can add sales to the spreadsheet so that people can track it. Because I'm not going to know every sale. I don't. I add some, but I'm going to put a spreadsheet up that is community editable so that people have access to it. And then the other stuff that I put on there is things that I've got that are ready to go, like the Storm Audio stuff. There's a ISP16, a Fusion, ISP32, Epson LS12000s. There's a Sony AZ 3000. Somebody please buy that. It needs a home. It needs a home. And what else is on there? And I've got two demo Sendo the 10s that also need a home. So If you have any use for any of that, please let me know. And we can, everything's open box with the exception of the Epsons. The Epsons are new. So shoot me a message. We'll let you know. See if we can work something out. Typically try to make sure that everybody's getting the best that anybody can offer. Have we reached the end? Nobody else is asking questions. You guys ask questions. Nobody has questions. Just give us a topic. I'm glad we had a Home Theater Denmark stuff to talk about previously. What was something that... Oh, so here's something we could talk about. There was a thread that I was reading on AVS, and people were talking about ribbon tweeters. And the part that I didn't agree with is they were saying that they were making the assumptions that one type of tweeter is better at something than another. And the problem with that logic is not every tweeter is going to do that. There are tweeters that do that. Like they were saying, oh, the ribbons are able to get to higher SPL and this and that. And while sometimes that can be true, like if you look at Wisdom or you look at Alcons, because of their implementations in the pro side of how those are being utilized, and there are other companies in the pro side, not that Wisdom's a pro company, but their implementation and the volumes they can get to kind of is. They're able to get to higher SPLs, their dispersion, all that stuff. But the assumption was being made, or the comment was being made, that's the direction that most ribbons go. And that is not true. Ribbons can compress just as much as soft dome tweeters. They can run into issues. They can have problems. And this is true for any type of driver and tweeter. While there are some correlations that can be drawn on what that type of driver is known for, I think it's important to not make it a blanket statement and say, hey, you need to look at ribbon tweeters because of this. I don't think it's necessarily that. I think you really just need to try and find tweeters that fit specific tweeters that fit your use case, not generalities. I think that's important. And I also think it's important, and I see this all the time on AVS, and it drives me nuts. And I make comments about it, and everybody's like, well, you just need to get the best speaker possible. No, that's not what you need to do. People are all about recommending equipment. They're all about, hey, I've had good experience with this. And while that's fine, it doesn't mean that OP is going to have a good experience with that. And they forget that the room is like 50% of the experience. And if you're not treating the room, even if you put a good speaker in there that is objectively good, if it does things to interact with the room negatively, you're going to have a bad time. So it's important to look at everything as a system together instead of this piece and everything separate. It's got to come together, and we look at it as a system. I mean, this is what we do with cars. You don't just buy the best. You buy what's the best for your application. And I don't understand why we don't do that for home theater. It does not make sense why a lot of people will just say, well, I had a good experience with this. And that's fine. You had a great experience with that. But that does not mean Joe Schmo is going to have the same great experience, because his use case, his implementation, his overall system may be very different, and you may be leading him into a bad time. So I think it's important that we all look at this from as high a level as possible and start at the room level and really think about, I've talked about this before, really think about, what are my compromises that I have in this room that I cannot fix, that I'm stuck with? Mine, in one case, is that my room is small. So I had to figure out ways. I have low ceilings. I wouldn't say it's small. I have low ceilings. And I had to figure out ways, hey, how can I make this work? And one way that I made it work was recessing speakers into the ceiling and ensuring the speakers that I was getting had high dispersion. Because if I did something narrow, my seat to seat consistency was going to go, and I didn't want that. So recessing the speakers into the ceiling, putting them on projector mounts so that I could tilt and angle, because frankly, we've all learned this about me. I am lazy and I don't want to go back and do things again. It's the engineer in me. I wanted to just mount them in the middle and go, hey, let's move it around. I didn't want to try and figure out where exactly it needed to go. And then if I needed to move it, take it down and remount it. I wanted to put it on a mount and be able to move it up and down and all this stuff. So low ceilings were one of my compromises. Another one was, what was another one? Projector placement was a big problem. I'm sure there's others that I will think about, but my point is find the shortcomings in your room and then you use equipment to overcome those shortcomings. Equipment should be a tool to overcome shortcomings. It should not be, hey, we're going to have equipment. We're going to design the room to the equipment. No, don't do that. Get equipment that fixes things in the room. That's what you want to do. And people don't think about a lot of times your sound power, first reflection points, all of that. Huge impact on your listening experience. And a lot of that is impacted by the room. And if you don't have the ability to treat first reflection points in certain areas, you were probably going to want to get a speaker that does not play negatively into that. Hey, I may want a narrower dispersion speaker where a reflection point may, or first reflection point may occur further out. Or the first reflection point that is closer that I can't really treat is lower sound power, so it becomes less of a problem. Those are the things that you want to look at. Trying to figure out another thing in video is, and people do this more correctly. I'm in a high ambient light room. I need a projector that can deal with that. That is a great approach. Not getting a projector that is not suited for that room. That's a bad approach. But a projector, let's say an NZ900, high ambient light room, probably not a good decision. QL 3000 or 7000, much better decision because it has the light output to overcome the ambient light. Then complement that with a screen. This is my hand gesture for a screen. That was terrible. Screen. And you're off and rolling. System coming together instead of things on their own. It's a sum of all of its parts. And that's what I really want people to focus on. Instead of the sexy equipment, focus on the system. Focus on the system. So, Guffiato 69able. What a name. What a name. What a name. I love that name. And I don't think he's trolling. I mean, he's here for the show not to be a troll. What a great name. I have to compliment you. That is fantastic. Yeah, RBH and their ribbon tweeter are getting very popular now. They are. And I think a big reason they're getting popular is a lot of their stuff is at a very approachable price point. And people need to remember that it's not all about the most expensive stuff. It's about getting things. And I don't have a lot of experience with RBH, so I can't really talk about what I like or dislike about. I don't have a lot of experience with them. But having things that are approachable, price point wise, availability wise, that do well in performance or well enough given their price point. Because remember, you're going to compromise in some situations, not all situations. You're going to compromise on performance if you spend less. If you spend more, your compromise is I'm spending more to get more performance. So there's always a compromise. Some of that compromise may be aesthetics. But in this case, you're getting decent aesthetic. You're getting a great price point. You may compromise on performance. And as long as that's known, I'm not saying you are because I don't know what speaker you're talking about. I don't know what the performance is. I'm talking in generalities here. And it all depends on your use case too. Like if the speaker's this far away from you, you can get away with less because the speaker doesn't have to be as capable. You could get away with a soft dome tweeter. That'd be great if they're closer to you. So some of all their parts. This video is probably going to be talked about on the internet like this guy's an idiot. But great point. 69able. I love that name. Sixo Flats 99. How do you guys get your names? I want to hear. Type your stories about how you got your aliases. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Have you seen it? Jeremy Renner. Do I need to watch it? That just sounds like a bad movie. Is it worth watching? Is it actually good, or am I gonna hate you for watching it? Giordano, no, just sexy equipment. Well, no, no. Thibault, have you tried your system without the 64, or do you have a preset to demonstrate the gap to a customer? I know you really love the 32. So, the 64, it's a tough one to turn off because the 64 is technically in a near field position. So, when I have it on, and there's low frequency, and depending on what it is, if it's like infra or something, it feels like somebody's back there with a 2x4, or not a 2x4, but a piece of plywood. Like imagine a 4x8 piece of plywood on an actuator, and it's just wham, 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 and it's moving forward. That's like having the 64 behind you within 3 feet because it is a near field. It's as close, it's within the distance the driver is wide to me. So it is acting as a near field. So turning it off, I lose a lot. So it's a tough one to turn off. I think you don't need the 64. You could absolutely get by with multiple 32s or 33s, I guess is what they are now. It takes two 33s roughly to equal a 64. So I could have put two more 32s back there. Really what I was trying to do was having the infrasonic stuff in the front and the back because I'm insane. So 64s in the back. Turning it off, it feels like there is a hole in the content. But I think the majority of that hole exists because you're used to having it so close to you that it's going away and you can tell very easily. If it was far field, as long as I had SPL, I don't think it would matter. The 33s could do it if they were 33s. It's more of an SPL thing because I'm gaining roughly 6 dB by having it there in the low end because I'm doubling my infrasonics. So yes and no. That's a hard one, Thibault, unfortunately. Ask me something specific if you have any more questions, but that's a tough one because of where it exists. It's a no-brainer to eye and ear candy. Watch it. Okay. All right, hold on. We're going to find it on Kaleidoscape. Is it on Kaleidoscape? And you got to tell me which edition because I think there's been multiple editions of this. If it sucks, I'm going to send you an invoice. Hansel. Is it Hansel and Gretel? Oh, this one. The 2013 one? Dude, this one's rated really bad. Really bad. It got a 17% from critics and 53% from audiences. Is this the one we're talking about in 2013? Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters? Am I talking about the right one? It's $10. So, I mean, I'll get it if you really want me to. And I'm going to judge you, Majek. Hard. There will be judgment. So let me know. Drew Ardano, how much content is the 64 actually playing? At what frequency is it not playing any content, not just the crossover? The crossover starts at 25 hertz. So it's playing things probably up into the 50s somewhere. The 21s are dominating it at that point, but that's where the crossover is at 25 hertz roughly. And I think we're doing, no, it may not be that high. I think that's a 48 dB per octave cut. So it's not playing very high, but you notice when it's not there in things like Imagine Dragons, Smoke and Mirrors, in things like Fury, in things like A Quiet Place, you definitely notice. Interstellar, absolutely. And it's kind of in your face. when it goes away because you lose that near field tactile feel. Majek is a boat manufacturer. Oh, you guys are giving me your names. Boat manufacturer from Corpus Christi, TX 60 horsepower flatboats. My Majek flatboat with 60 horsepower. Oh, you named yourself after a boat. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around where you name the boat after something that you care about, but you named yourself after a boat? Are you the boat manufacturer? Or did you just name yourself after the boat? I don't really care. Interesting. I like it. Watch it. All right. Here we go. I'm buying it. I'm going to hate you. Hold on. Dude. Purchase. All right, I bought it. This is going to suck. This is going to be so bad. $69able says, I wonder if there's a huge upgrade in getting a Storm processor over an HTP1 from Monoprice, which I think is amazing for the price. What is the upside to something so high in price range like the Storm? Direct art is a big one. The amount of filters you can put on per channel, how far down you can actually EQ. The Storm allows you to EQ down to 6 hertz now, which is big. Storm XT, which is it pumps the ambient track and ambient sound to all speakers, making it sound like your theater's more encompassing at any given time. So all speakers are actually active at all times. I really like Storm XT. You lose bass BEQ. You don't have that. Upgradability is a big one. So like I just installed the ADAC HDMI board. You can upgrade and install more XLRs. You can go all the way to 32 channels instead of 16. You can go full digital if you wanted, if you do the ISP platform. It just depends on what you're trying to do. I look at the Storm as more of a long-term investment. It's not an investment, but you're purchasing something more for the long term than you are shorter. The HTP ones, I think fine. It's just when it goes, it goes. The Storm you're going to keep because it's an upgradable chassis. That's how I look at it. So it's what you got. PEQ ability is a big one before and after direct. Most processors are not going to allow you to go back and do PEQ after the room EQ, and Storm definitely will. So you named yourself after a boat. You're not the manufacturer. Boat was sold in 2015, but kept the name. All right, you're invested. Fair enough. I love it. What are the 32 crossovers? The same as the 64, roughly 25 hertz. Happy Bullets is my old school COD name since COD 2. Okay, I can get behind that. So Moltar came from my brother and I starting a clan in Alien versus Predator and naming ourselves after the Space Ghost characters. So the clan was Coast to Coast, and we were all characters from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Nobody was Space Ghost. I was Moltar. My brother was Zorak. One of my friends was Brack, so on and so forth. So I've just had that. How long have I've had this name for? Coming up on 30 years, and I use it on everything. I don't know why. It's just my alias. I get on here. The first thing I hear is I hate you. I don't hate you, Chris. Not you. Maybe some of the other people in chat, but not you. I may hate Majek for having me watch this Hansel and Gretel movie. There may be some hatred, but I'm committed. Even if it sucks, I'm going to watch it, and we're going to go back and look on, when are we going to stream again? We're going to come back on probably Monday morning. Well, probably not Monday morning. We're probably going to do Tuesday morning because I got to take a car to the shop on Tuesday. So we're going to do Tuesday the 4th. I've got it on my calendar. We're going to come back on Tuesday the 4th at 8 a.m. And I'm going to tell you whether or not I like Majek. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I might hate Majek. Not sure. Thibault says the new DACs on the Storm ISP are really good. They do allow for the new codecs, which I'm happy about. I can't say I noticed a difference. I'd have to A/B them, and I don't have the ability to do that. I mean, I could if I set it up, but I'm lazy and I don't want to do that. So I'll take your word for it. I'm using it and I like it. I don't dislike it, but I can't say that I necessarily notice. But I'm not a very smart man, so maybe I'm just not smart. Hishiburo-kan, with so much great objective data on speakers out there, but no way to listen to most of them in person. It's a big time investment to order, set up, calibrate, return to Crutchfield. Any suggestions for auditioning new speakers more efficiently? Burokan, where are you located? M-Wave is a great way to do it. I actually will be I'm bringing back the speaker comparison. We put them on a big Lazy Susan and spin them. You're not going to be able to do every speaker known to man, but you're going to be able to do speakers where you like common ones. Like we'll have Martin Logan, we'll have Kev, and we do it blind. And I don't do it to pick a winner. We're not going to say, hey, this one's objectively the best. I'm not doing that. That is not what M-Wave is about. It is about objectivity, and we're about there to learn. There's seminars for speaker design, subwoofer design, room implementation, auto EQ, calibrate, video and audio calibration, all that stuff. There is objective data everywhere. But I am not there to showcase all of this stuff and pick winners, because some people are going to like objectively perfect equipment and some people are not. And you can argue with me about more people are going to choose this speaker blind. I disagree, because I've put speakers back there that were not, and maybe it's because they were playing better in the room. Maybe I'm allowing variables to come into this, but everybody's room is going to be different. So I don't know how I feel about that. Speakers that have won, that were most favored by people voting, like what they liked, like which one was your favorite, and that one got the most, were not the best objectively measured speakers necessarily. So it's important to take all of this with a grain of salt, and it's important to put your butt in front of things and not just trust data and not just trust other people's opinions. Because while you may get things in your room and be like, hey, I like this, you very well may be missing out on an opportunity for something that you like way more. So if you have interest in that, M-Wave, next September, MidwestAVExperience.net. Tickets are up. We're still working on the VIP passes. The stuff for the vendors just went out yesterday, and I've already gotten some stuff back. So things are going to fill up pretty rapidly, I think, over the next month with the vendors. But it's happening. Official in Kansas City at the Kansas City Convention Center. That's what I would suggest if you're in the U.S., Boroken. Or if not, we get people from Europe. We've had somebody come in from South America and Australia in the years past. So it's worth it. It is worth it because of experiences like that. It's going to be a lot more valuable. Any suggestions for auditioning new speakers more efficiently? Yeah, that's what we just talked about. Okay. So 69 will got my name because I got tired of all the names were taken, so I went with a depraved. Oh, okay. You're a depraved individual. I get it. All right. M-Wave was awesome. Exposure to so many brands is how I ended up with the Ascendos. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I do this for others. I want people to enjoy their journey, which is why I do it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad it was beneficial to you. That's great. Ryan doesn't hate anyone. He just loves to hate me because I tell him and Jonathan about their taste in movies. Jonathan's the one with bad taste in movies. I have an excellent taste in movies because Pacific Rim, we all know, should win an Oscar, right? I am the critic. I am the one everybody should listen to, obviously. That's what should happen. Jonathan doesn't know what he's talking about with movies. He watches things like this. Come on. Come on now. Come on. I have a terrible taste in movies. Terrible. Have you tried the Doors and the Atmos mix? No, I have not. Should I? Is it on Kaleidoscape? If not, it's going to be tough because I'm lazy. I've done the A/B testing on my another config, the HiFi one, before changing the new processing card, Stella, Utopia, EM, and AccuPhase stuff, blah, blah, blah. I was a little surprised by the gap. Fair enough. So Chris thinks Jonathan secretly loves Godzilla. I'm just imagining him after he gets off the stream going and going off and watching Godzilla in like a corner, just trying to hide like a little golem or something. My precious, as he's talking about Godzilla, watching it on his phone. That's I have this visualization. Oh, how terrible. You merely adopted your dark theater. I was born in it. Concerning, but okay. Fair enough. I shall listen to your taste from now on in movies. So we got some stuff, talked about some stuff. I see some people have reached out about equipment. I will get back to you here in just a minute. We are going to stream again next Tuesday, the 4th. If anybody has any good ideas for topics, drop them into the comments, not into chat. Drop them into the comments of the video, because I don't see these chat notifications. Put them in the comments of the video after it posts, if you have any ideas for topics that we can, or a question that I can talk about for a little bit on the next stream for the 4th. But we're going to wrap this one up today. I hope everybody has a safe Halloween. I'm going to see Beauty and the Beast tonight, which I'm actually excited about, because we have established that I am a man of many tastes, and musicals is one of them. I will not dress up for this musical, but I will enjoy it with my 6-year-old daughter. And I'm going to make my 15-year-old son also enjoy it. So we got that. Family pictures this weekend. Got my nephew's birthday, and Jonathan and I are going to look at the LS9000, and I'm going to tell you if it's worth it. We're going to find out. Hopefully it's worth it. But guys, stay safe this Halloween, whatever you may be doing. If you got any cool pictures of your costumes, I wish I had a way for you to send them to me. If you drop them into the comments, it's just going to delete them, so that's not a good idea. But stay safe out there. Have fun. Eat too much candy, and enjoy your home theater and AV journey. If you have any questions, drop me a comment. Save it until next stream on the 4th. We'll go from there. But again, stay safe. Have a good one.